Good morning. I just wanted to send you a message this morning that kind of got us back on track in terms of leading the Enhancing Inclusive Environments Support for Implementation Community, our Reaching All Students NING. And so I thought I would start with the members area. If you look over here, you may be confused by seeing all of these logos. That's the default logo when somebody becomes a member. If you notice when I put my cursor over it, you can see people's names. We need to encourage those people to put up a profile picture, and instead of just like pinging on them one at a time, just see who's joining your group, and maybe you can get them to encourage them to put up their photo. If people or you have any questions about how to do something, if you go to groups, let's look up at the top where you can see where I'm talking about in the nav bar. I'm going to need to move this video just a second up here. So if you go to groups at the very top in the nav bar, when you click on that, you're going to see that one of the groups is actually help desk. And I think what I'll do is I'll feature it so that it shows up at the top. The help desk will enable people to be able to find any video, and now I'm looking for it, oh, here it is. It'll enable you to find any video that you need to tell you how to do what you need to do. Right now there's only 6 members in here, and so all of us need to be a part of this, because even if you don't need these videos, other people will. Right now there's a few videos showing, but if you click view all, you'll be able to see all of them. And they're real quick. They're not long, but they walk you through step by step with screenshots on how to do everything. So that's a place for you to find out how to do things. It's also a place as you're leading to lead other people to understanding what to do and how to do it in terms of just uploading a photo or making sure that you don't get inundated with email, things of that nature. I did want to talk to you a little bit about your groups, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the group that I'm leading, the Connected Educators, as an example. So I went in a lot of your groups and I saw different kinds of things, and I'll be sending you each emails kind of talking you through it. But this is an example, so if you could kind of come back to the Connected Educators, I'm going to try to use it to model so that you know what to know what to expect. So you can see that in my text area here, I've actually got some text. Up here it tells them a little bit about the course, the group room that they're going to be in. But this is my text that I've written. So I've got a little bit of an overview about what we're going to be doing in this room. So you want to talk about what you're going to be doing there. Then I've got an invitation to build trust and to make it seem approachable. So pull up a virtual chair. Let's start by introducing ourselves. So there's a little bit of direction, because if you just have, hey, this is this room and we're going to learn about this, and then you don't have something that's going to pull them in and let them know down below there's something for you to do, an action item, then they might not know. And then also, I did a little video welcome, and I'd recommend that you do that. You can do it with your webcam. You can actually go to a site called jing.com, Jing. That's how all those help desk videos are done. Or, so you don't have to have fancy equipment or anything. I'm actually using Camtasia to do mine. It is a for-purchase product, but there's lots of them online right now that aren't. Anybody who has a Mac, you can do your video. It has it built in. So the video welcome, watch it, and you'll see that I kind of explain to them how this group room's going to work, and just give everybody there, a little bit about me and that kind of thing. Then you also, and the reason for this builds trust. When you're in an online community of practice, the different kinds of communication, not just text, that you can have will reach different learners, and it also makes you a 3D person. It makes you a complete person. In the discussion forum, I've done 2 things, and I think it's important for you to see what these are here. The first thing that I've done is I did an introduction, but it's done a little differently. Garrison, Archer, and Anderson in their research talk about that when you're teaching an online course, you want to have 3 kinds of presence. You want to have cognitive presence, you want to have teaching presence, and you want to have social presence. So social presence is what we did in Maine, and I'll show you that again in a minute and make sure you remember. It's where you're introducing yourself, and it's really all about you and being social and starting to build your online voice and showing that you're a real person and that kind of thing. Cognitive presence is where you're actually doing the kinds of things that related to content. And so you can be cognitively social, and I'll show you how I did it here, where you're trying to get to know each other, but you're also trying to find out what they know about the topic. So rather than repeat the introduction that we had on the front, because if I really want to know about them, I can go to their my page, go to their profile, click on their pic, or I can go to the main page where we're all socially getting to know each other. Here, the purpose of this is to really get to know them cognitively. So you can see I still want to get to know them. I'm talking about building a common language, but I have them introduce themselves through the lens of a connected educator. You could do something similar in your room related to your particular topic. So you want to have an introduction in your room, but not just a repeat of what's on the main page. Instead, the introduction in your room needs to be more through the lens of the content you're going to be discussing. And you can figure out clever ways to do that if you need some help. That's what the ARPDC group room is. It used to be called Connected Coaches. Now it's ARPDC Coaches, to keep from being confusing. Come there and ask questions. The other discussion that I have in here is leveraging a network, and it's really where we're going to start to talk about the content. So I have one introduction and one piece that's really related to the kinds of discussions that we're going to have in here. What my job is now is to look at the people that are in my group. Let me move over so you can see who those folks are. It's mostly you guys. I have 23 people here. So my first job would be then to go to each page. So I'm going to click on Carla, and I'm going to go to her page, and I'm going to learn a little bit about her, but more importantly, I'm going to come down here to the bottom to her wall, and I'm going to say something like Shirley has here. I'm going to say something like, hey, Carla, I noticed that you've joined the group room. I'm so excited to have you. Can't wait to see all that I learned from you in this space, or something like that, where I leave a comment on the wall of each one of my people. If I don't want to do that, if I don't want to leave a comment, let's say that you have 23 instead of 10, then what I might want to do is I might want to send a message to the group. And so inside your room, right about here, you have send a message to the group. And if I click on that, I can actually send a message to everybody in my group to say, hey guys, welcome. I noticed you're here. I'm so excited. Kind of like I did you when I sent you the welcome video inside the Connected Educators room. Glad you're here. Here's a quick video that I put together. I want you to come on into the group room and introduce yourselves. And you don't have to put a link, because there'll be a link at the bottom of any email you send that'll take them to the space it came from. So using messages to the whole group is a way to draw people back in. Another tip there is you want to make sure that, like, if you put a message, you could say, let's say conversation has started and your group's going. You could use this message weekly to send something out and say, check out the conversations we're having. Bob is talking about X and Jane is talking about Y, and you can link to those conversations. You don't want to go, you just want to do a teaser and then link to the conversation so it pulls them back into your group and you can continue to have the conversation there. So I think that's going to be pretty important. The other thing that I wanted to show you, and actually let me go right back to my group room, is, and let me pull this down for you, is I want you to see the pages and remind you of that. So if you look right here underneath the members, this is where you can add a page, and it's pretty easy. So as I'm trying to organize content, or let's say that I have a page that's going to have other kinds of things, I can click right here and add a page, and that's a way of organizing the information inside my room. And you have to make your members aware of the pages you have. Let me show you a group that has pages so you can see what I'm talking about, and it's going to be our coaches room. So I'm going into the ARPDC coaches room, and this is where we are learning, and you really need to make sure you're part of this room. And you can see here, there's the welcome letter, shows what I should be doing now. And this is a little bit different for us because this has to do with the actual active coaching role. So I'll always tell you when that's been updated, and this is actually what you should be doing now. Make sure you're using the checklist. Well, where do I find the checklist? Well, I've linked to it there, but also this is how I'm organizing information for you, is with the pages. It's the same pages like in your room underneath the pictures. Here's the email that went out. Here's your checklist. This is the links and archives to the webinars I'm doing for coaches. This is another email. This is a pre-welcome. So this is a way to archive all the important information that's going on in our group, so that if you go, I can't find that email, it makes it just real easy for everybody to get their fingertips on everything. So I really hope you'll go into your group rooms, make sure that your text intro is what it needs to be, that it is that it that's makes you approachable, makes everybody feel welcome, kind of gives points them to get started in the discussions. Then make sure that you have at least two discussions. I wouldn't do a bunch of content because you want to do co-created content. Also make sure that when you're doing those two discussions, that this isn't like a course. This is building community. So you want to make sure that when you do the discussions down here, that you're not making it like a homework assignment. So I don't want it to be read this article and answer these three questions. Instead, I don't want it to just be, hey, I found a great article, check it out, because that's going to send them away and there's no discussion. Instead, what I'm going to want to do is share something and say, when I read this article, this really jumped out at me, and I was wondering, what do you think about this? Just so that it's like a conversation. You want to pretend that you're having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, sitting across from somebody, and you're truly having a conversation around something that you're passionate about, something that really is interesting to you. So it's also a good idea to have a picture, as I've done up here. It just builds the interest in what you're doing. So you want to kind of mix white space with pictures with text. So I don't want to go much longer because nobody wants to watch a video that long, but that's just some things that I would try to get in there as soon as possible and fix, and then send a message out to the people that have joined your space. And if you know other people in here, and the way that you can find those other people is if you go to main, you can actively recruit for your space. So for instance, if I go to view all on these members, I can see the members that are in here. And there's actually, the exciting thing about this is there's actually 75 people in here that you can recruit from. Let me show you that. See right here in the members, there's 75 people, and there'll be more. We're kind of waiting for you to get your room totally set up and that you really understand what you're doing before we bring in the next wave. But like if I wanted to recruit, I could go to Lee Andrews, to her page, and I could come here and I could read what she is and what she's interested in. And then I might go down and say, based on what you said, you might be interested, and I do it right here in the comments. I'm on Lee's page and I'm leaving it in the comments on her comment wall. I might say, you might really be interested in what we're talking about over in the Connected Educators group or the Connected Learners group, and or in one of your groups. And then that way, then I do put a link. And so she can go check out my room. So I can actively recruit people that I think might be interested, either because I know them or because of something they said. So I hope this has been helpful. We really want you to get in there and get those changes made as quickly as possible. And I'll be sending out some notes. I look forward to learning with you guys online.